What is going on, everybody? Welcome to J&J in the evenings. Happy Friday, Josiah. How we feeling today?
It's Friday. I got a very busy weekend ahead, but hey, it's Friday, right?
That's right. This is honestly, for some reason, for like half the day I thought it was Wednesday. But I am very glad that today's Friday because Game 6, Warriors Lakers. But we'll get to that in a little bit here.
Oh
So
boy,
let's
here
start
we
out
go.
with what happened in Phoenix last night. Absolute decimation. I mean, at halftime, I text Josiah. I was like, dude, it's already a 30-point game at half. I mean, I was already thinking about turning the game off. Um, I'd really only stayed on to watch just because I didn't know if things were going to get chippy there towards the end or in the offset chance that there's a comeback that ends up happening, i.e., Colts Vikings this past year, Jags, Chargers. You stick around just in case. But there's a certain point in the fourth quarter where you just know it's not going to happen. That was supposed to, apparently, we're supposed to be told that was only happening because Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton were not playing. And so, because of that, Kevin Durant, a top 15 player all time, and Devin Booker, a top 15 player in the league right now, they were not supposed to be able to handle business at home, or at the very least, we're not supposed to lose by 30 at home in an elimination game. I mean, KD's been in this league a long time. I do think that some of this falls on Monty Williams. I do think that some of this falls on Devin Booker, but I think a lot of it falls on Kevin Durant. You cannot tell me that you're a top 15 player of all time, and in an elimination game, you don't attempt a 3-pointer the entire game. That's ridiculous, dude. I was following that because Cameron Payne going into the fourth quarter was 7 for 7 from three. And I'm like, man, if you were just getting this from, a little bit more from Booker and maybe this from Kevin Durant, we'd be talking about a completely different game. But Jokic with a 30-point triple-double, he had 32 points. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker combined for 35. So that just kind of tells you how that game was last night. And it made me think, what is KD? Is Kevin Durant a top 15 player like everybody says, everybody tells you? Or is he maybe a little bit less than that and maybe just more of a glorified two? So Kevin Durant has got his 2 rings. He's got his 2 finals MVP. He's got an MVP, 2 finals MVP. He's got a regular season MVP and a rookie of the year. The MVP and the rookie of the year happened before Curry, but finals and obviously then the finals MVPs happened with Curry. So let's just look playoff wise. What he did before Steph Curry. So this is when James Harden was the 6th man of the year, which is a pretty fucking good 6th man of the year. And Russell Westbrook was over there. I believe Steven Adams was over there as well on those OKC teams. His record in the playoffs, 50-38 in the first 6 seasons there. It's okay. You could tell that he's just barely above 500. Joins the Warriors. Yes, Steph was in his prime. Clay was in his prime. Dominant team. I understand that. But they were 46-14 in 3 years. That's pretty fucking dominant. He leaves the Warriors because he wants to be the man. He knew in Golden State it didn't matter the numbers that he put up. It didn't matter how well he played with the players around him. Didn't matter how many championships he won. He could have won fucking 3 MVPs all 3 years that he was there. That was always going to be Steph's team. It always has been, always will be, as long as Steph Curry is a part of that team. He leaves Josiah. He's now 13-14 in the playoffs since he's left Steph Curry in the Warriors. Is that a top 15 player?
Well, let me ask this because since you're the numbers guy, I need you to pull up more numbers. Where did he go once he left the Warriors? What was his trail?
So he went from the Warriors to Brooklyn, and then from Brooklyn to Phoenix.
Right, because
So
the
he's
trade
had
for Phoenix happened this year.
And then he had Devin Booker.
Well, you can make a case for Brooklyn. That's just the shit show of a basketball team, if you ask me.
But he chose to go there. In free agency, he chose to go there with Kyrie.
Because he wanted to show he could be a dominant one.
Let's just say that Joe Burrow ended up leaving the Bengals tomorrow, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to go join. I'm going to join the Commanders tomorrow, and it doesn't work out. Okay, well, sorry, Joe. You're not as great of a quarterback as you think that you are. I think the same thing applies here. If you leave, great, and you think that you can create great somewhere else, I mean, under 500, that's not even good.
Yeah, that's not at all. Like I
No.
said, you can make a case for the Brooklyn team, but the Suns, on the other hand, there's no excuse for this. You came to a team that already had a great roster, and you were
Yep.
supposed to be this great player that was supposed to help elevate this team to the next level, so they don't get eliminated in the second round, just like they did last year.
Yeah.
So it's. I don't think he's a top 15, Josh.
I. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. At some point, I'm gonna end up having a list out there for everybody of my top 20 or whatever players of all time.
Spoiler
I'm
alert: LeBron James is number one.
LeBron is number one and Steph Curry is top 10. But
Oh
Kevin
Lord.
Durant, it's this and then getting swept out of the playoffs last year that it's like, okay, if you're the guy, I understand that you're in your early 30s. I get that. But I'm looking at what Steph is doing. He's not getting any help and he's able to go off. LeBron, this is the first year where it's like, okay, Anthony Davis needs to be good for the Lakers to win. Um, so I don't know why Kevin Durant couldn't be that guy either, but
Right, but
it's a
it's
shame.
KD's is not the only finger to point. The Suns, there's multiple people we could call out. One I want to talk about is someone who didn't even step on the court for the rest of this time after game two. CP38 got hurt, went out. Would he have made a difference on that field? I don't know. What I do know is at the NBA trade deadline, and you can go back and find this if you're a J&J in the evenings, big old number one fan, okay? This man right here said the Suns are not going to do it because CP38 is going to get hurt, just
Yeah.
like he always does. It's like we need to get him a crystal ball because he was right on the money with that. And now the reports are coming out that this team is heavily interested in trading CP38 this offseason, even though he's under the team's contract for another, 1-2 years till
2
25, I believe.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. So to move on from him already, he didn't, with his injury concerns, it makes sense. Are they going to draw a market for him and how much, or what are they going to get? Where's he going to go? And if he played, would this series have turned out differently?
I don't think that the series would have played out any differently, except it might have ended up going 5 instead of 6. I mean, because if you look, like, Cameron Payne didn't just play like that last night. He was putting up better numbers than Chris Paul was before he ended up going down. Just go back and look at it. Chris Paul, so he's projected to make $30 million this year, guaranteed. So he's supposed to end up getting about $16 million of that after June 28th. Next year, he's supposed to make $30 million, but none of it's guaranteed. So I think that the real move is you keep Chris Paul. I'll get to where he could go here in a second because I got a team that I think would be interesting.
Yeah, I threw a lot of questions at you.
I think that the real move is to trade DeAndre Ayton to the Warriors for Jordan Poole. So they make about $600,000. There's about a $600,000 difference. Ayton making more, but 1-for-1, you could actually make that trade. If you think about it, Ayton's stock has really dropped in this playoff run. He didn't play last night with a rib contusion. You know how I feel about that word contusion and when you don't play. Versus Jordan Poole, who's, again, his stock has really dropped in this postseason. They both just signed new deals last season. They're both relatively young, and they both would actually fix the other team's problems. The Warriors, they need a big. Draymond Green is not the guy that you really want on AD for a best of 7 series, but that's what they have to do right now. If you had Ayton, that's a solid enough guy to end up having on him, and then maybe Green goes out for LeBron. Whereas they have Looney, kind of doubling AD or just kind of protecting the rim, but he's no threat on offense. Ayton's a threat on offense. Not a serious one, but he'll at least get you 10 to 15 points, which is more than what they're getting. Warriors aren't even starting at center.
Right.
The Suns, you bring Poole in. Poole's averaging 26 points a game. He just does not work for the Warrior system. But I think in another system like the Suns, where they just need points, if you were to bring down Chris Paul's minutes this season, you insert Jordan Poole, and maybe they're split in time, And then after the season, you can cut bait with Chris Paul, not really feel bad about it. And Jordan Poole, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, that's your big three. I don't think that's a bad big three either.
Not at all. Not at all. Now, if they do go Chris Paul, where does he go?
So I think Memphis is the spot. Memphis has a lot of maturity problems. If you look back a couple years ago, Oklahoma City, they were basically like projected to get in the lottery the second that the season started, even with Chris Paul getting there, and he took them to the playoffs. If you look, no matter where Chris Paul goes, I will give him this. As much as I don't understand why people say he's like a top player, but wherever Chris Paul does go, they do make the playoffs. But he brings the stability in like the adulthood in the room. So I think that that's kind of what Memphis is missing. They're going to move off of Dylan Brooks, get rid of the fucking clown. And if Ja is going to be your centerpiece and that's your future, you need Chris Paul to end up being there. And then you switch Ja to being your two for a little bit.
I could see it. I could see it. Like I said, Memphis needs that veteran leadership in that locker room.
Yep.
I mean, when you're everyone's looking up to Ja.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like I'd much rather have Chris Paul. It's like Chris Paul and LeBron are like tops of the Players Association, and it's for good reason. They bring in really good adult leadership. I mean, everything. They'll teach you.
Right, right. Well, hey, how about we parkour from the west and let's talk east for a minute, huh?
Let's do that, man.
Let's talk about
believe what I saw last night.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jason Tatum's epic fourth quarter and the Celtics tying it up.
So
going into game
Can you
7.
believe that? Game 7 on Sunday. Two of
Wow.
the best words in sports, game 7. Dude, okay, so you talk about the fourth quarter for Tatum. He was 1 for 10 to start the game, and he hits 4 consecutive threes in the fourth quarter. During that stretch, the Sixers went 1 for 10 from the field in the final 6.5 minutes. That's absurd. You're at home. Come on, dude. It's like
I can't believe how low. Like when you look at the games we watched and the scores, I cannot believe how many little points was scored in this matchup.
So I take notes throughout the games that I watch and stuff, just so I kind of remember what ended up going on. And the two things that I wrote down multiple times: Harden is a no-show, and Sixers could not look slower. I wrote those two statements down multiple times in my notes. I couldn't believe. I mean, the Celtics out rebounded. My accent came out there. The Celtics out rebounded the Sixers 50-38. That's your ball game. Going, on a 14-3 run down the stretch for Boston, that's your ball game. I understand, like 1 for 10, you want to leave Tatum open for the first shot. I get it. Like, analytics will tell you, leave him open. He'll probably go 1 for 11. He's missed 90% of his shots tonight. Second shot, I might put a little bit more. But maybe I step back, okay? Because that's only your second shot. Only your first 3 makes that one. Okay. By the third one, I'm going to need you undressing this man. And all 4 shots, dude. All you got to do, step back, boom. Get to the side. Or nobody's around him. And it's like, okay, at some point, I understand. I love analytics. I love numbers. We talk about it on the show all the time, how much I love numbers. But at some point, what's going on in the game overtakes that. Go fuck double them. They figured out who to go to down the stretch. That made no sense to me whatsoever. I looked back. There's been 4 other series where the road team has won 5 games in a single series. So Philly wins it in Boston, which I don't think is going to happen. I think the line is at 7 or 8 right now, which is really disrespectful to the Sixers. I would take Boston, but I would take the Sixers points.
Yeah, here's what I so. Go ahead. Finish up.
I don't know how you trust either team. I don't know how Vegas trusts either team by 7 or 8 points. Either one.
It's hard. This game's a coin flip. Every game we've seen this series, you can make a case for being a coin flip. I got a bold take, which is something new that Josh and I are going to be doing, as long as we got sports on to talk. We're going to give a couple bold takes that let you guys sit on over the weekend. And then we're going to revisit those takes on Monday, quote for
Yep.
quote, and see the reactions right from it. Something new we're trying out here. So I guess I'll start us off here with the Celtics. This isn't really the boldest take. This is probably the least bold take I have for you guys today. Is I've got the Celtics taking it in Game 7, and it is going to be very close. But I think they pull through in the end there, win it by 12 points.
By 12. Okay. So
12.
I've got the Celtics winning too. That's my prediction. But I've got Sixers in the points. I've got this about a 5-point game. I think that for the most part, the Celtics have it for the majority of the game, but I think that the Sixers make it close towards the end. But I tell you what, if this is a 3-point game or 2-point game, if we're talking about a 2 or 3-point game on Monday, I'm probably thinking that the Sixers end up winning just because the Celtics can't close games out.
It's going to be close. Like you said, the Vegas odds there in the money line and the point spread there, they got it so close, which makes sense. I mean, we're talking last night's game was a 95-86. That's a 9-point difference. If we go back and look throughout this series, we're probably going to see multiple games with less than 10 points in difference between these teams.
Yeah.
It's so hard. That's what makes this prediction bold, is because you're so confident in it. I'm confident that the Celtics will take this, and I think it's double digits.
You want to know what my second bold take is? It ain't for this game.
Oh, I know where you're
Warriors
going with
gonna force a game 7, boy! Oh my gosh, dude! If the Warriors force a game 7, the Warriors are winning this fucking series, and you know it. You know it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so great. I mean, now I will say the Lakers really, they couldn't give two fucks about that game on Wednesday. I believe my exact quote was, I have it written down here.
Yep. I remember it. Take it.
Just give the game to the Warriors instead of playing. I said that for a reason. The Lakers heard what I said and said, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah.
They did. The final score there, for those who didn't see it, was 121-106.
I mean, it's the entire game. The once the Lakers would bring it within 9 points, Warriors would bring it back to 12. Lakers would bring it to the 10. It would go back to 15. It was, the Warriors were just not giving that game up. Interesting thing. So Draymond Green scored 20 points. Interesting fact. That's the first time that he's done that since Christmas Day 2019. So if you're expecting that game from him again in Game 6, history is not on his side for that one. Wiggins scored the most since his return. I was hoping that might have been a sign of good things to come, but this rib cartilage fracture that has came down, being a game time decision, he gonna play. Okay, he's not Anthony Davis. Okay, he's not going to get knocked upside the head and then have a wheelchair get him, wheeled back to the locker room.
He's playing. No, Anthony Davis is playing tonight.
Yeah, 80's playing tonight. Now, here's what I was thinking, okay? So Anthony Davis is playing. Is he going to be a little hesitant to play strong given what just happened to him in Game 5? Because he is a pussy like that.
He's gonna come out strong, and that leads into my bold take, which obviously I got to go opposite of you. Let's go by facts, because I love the facts. Braun is 17-0 when he goes up 3-1 in playoffs.
Yep.
Like you said, that gave the game to the Warriors. The Lakers are more focused on Friday's game. Well, Friday's come. It's almost now or never basketball, and the Lakers are going to dominate tonight. And not only that, LeBron and AD are going to combine for greater than or equal to 54 points between both of them.
Wow, that's a good parlay actually right there.
Big take.
Here's the thing with Curry in closeout games, okay? Or sorry, in elimination games. He's had 13 of them. He's averaging 29, 6, and 7, averaging 45% from the field, plus minus of plus 100, and is 9 and 4, which is about 69% of the games won. If this gets to a game 7, LeBron is 14 and 11 in elimination games. So I'm liking the Warriors even more so for that reason. I know that Curry's going to be great. Okay, I've got the keys to victory for Golden State. 5 keys. 1, either Wiggins or Draymond is going to have to try to get you 20, or Poole. One of those 3 guys. I don't see it coming from Poole. Rotational guys normally don't show up on the road. And it's Jordan Poole. And Jordan Poole, I do not trust. I get a little nervous with Draymond, hoping that he's going to get 20 because again, he hasn't done it in 4 years now. I guess 3.5. Sorry. Wiggins is the key. If Wiggins can get me 20 with that fracture, I'm feeling good. Number 2, Game 6, Klay Thompson is a thing, okay? So Klay needs at least 4 3-pointers to end up winning. He's averaging 10% better from the field and 3 in Game 6s, okay? So this is an actual thing. And asking for 4 threes, he got you 8 in Game 2. I'm asking for half of that in Game 6. If he can get you 20, Wiggins gets you 20, Curry gets you 20, which Curry has not went for under 20 in this playoffs. I think he got a good shot. Number 3, keep AD away from the rim. If AD is a little bit hesitant, which I feel like he's going to be a little bit to start the game, I'm not sure. After halftime, I don't know what's going to happen. I
Yeah, you
think
got to shake the rust off a little bit.
That could be where the Lakers start taking off is after halftime. But if the Warriors can build enough there in the first half where maybe the Lakers are starting to force there in the second half, that's something. And then no stupid fouls and no turnovers. No stupid turnovers. In the games where the Warriors have won, they're +1 in the free throw department. And the games where they've lost, they've combined for -55, I think, or whatever. So no stupid fouls, and you need to keep the turnovers to a minimum. Probably means that Jordan Poole doesn't play too much because what else does he do? Something to keep in mind. Lakers are 39-39-2 against the spread this season, and they're a 3-point favorite. Okay, so it's not like you're guaranteed to win because they're 3-point favorites. All right. Pressure's definitely on the Lakers. They know what's going to happen if it gets to a Game 7. Really, the Warriors just need one more 3. They're averaging a loss of 2.8 a game. So one more 3, and they've got it won. So I'm taking the Warriors tonight. And by virtuoso, that means that I will have stuck to my guns, and Warriors will come back from 3-1, and we will be talking about this on Monday.
When we talked last week, a couple weeks ago, you asked me, you said, Josiah, what's going to happen with this Lakers and Warriors game? And I told you, Lakers in 6. And that's where we're at. Lakers in 6. Here's their keys to winning. I got 2 things. 2 things to say. 1, you need good defense tonight. The defense is going to be everything when you're going against Steph Curry and this Warriors offense who are clinging on for life. When this team is down, they play their best. You are not in the clear yet. Heavy defense tonight. Second point, you need a good bench. If LeBron and AD overperform like I expect them to, they're obviously not going to be on the court the full 60 minutes. You're going to need your bench to come out and really impress and have a strong bench there to help keep your team afloat if you get to that point.
Yep.
But I'm taking Lakers still. I'm taking Lakers in 6.
I think Hachimura is the guy tonight. All right, because I think Anthony Davis is probably going to be playing about 30 to 35 minutes. And I think Hachimura is going to be a guy that the Lakers are going to be looking a lot to, and Lonnie Walker obviously too. But I think Hachimura is probably the guy.
Yeah, new segment, players to watch, Josh edition.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's the guy? And who's the? Trust me, buddy, you're not that guy. Who's not that guy tonight, Josh?
Who's not that guy is Jordan Poole. He's going to try everything he possibly can to force a Game 7. And I'm telling you, I think I'd rather pick out a fan from the crowd to play for the Warriors than Jordan Poole tonight.
Well, hey, listen, Josh, there's another game on tonight that can force Game 7.
That'd be crazy because if this goes to a Game 7, the Warriors Lakers, and we get 2 Game 7s on Sunday, I think this would go to Monday for Game 7. Heat Knicks. It won't though. Heat are closing it out tonight. I mean, which one would you rather have? Would you rather have Brunson or Butler? Butler is the clear guy. I think my bold take for this one, which I don't know if this is Super Bowl, but I think he gets a 30-point triple-double. He's only had 1, I believe, in this playoff run so far. I think he gets another one today. They close it out Miami, and I'm telling you, Miami is going to put up a fucking dogfight against Boston and or Philly. I don't think it matters.
They are.
It is. They're going to put up a dogfight.
I don't know if you know what the definition of bold is, but it's got to be a bold take, Josh. So I'm going out on a limb here.
You
the
take
Knicks
a Knicks?
bring it together. The Knicks bring it together in Miami. Not only win, they win by 13.
Wow.
Brunson goes 30 for 8 and 3.
Man. Wait, what? Brunson goes for what?
30 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists.
3-6. Okay, so I've got Jimmy Butler having a 30-point triple-double. That's more than what Brunson's going to get you. That's
Yeah,
a bold
but
take.
Jimmy Butler's going to underperform.
Really? First time
I
all
think
postseason?
so. I think it's just there's something in the air about upsets. Okay, I would even take it to stretch to say that.
Much?
Do what?
It was Lakers by how much?
Lakers by how much?
Yeah.
I actually didn't give a number by the Lakers. I just had them going combined 54. But if you want a number, tell you what, it's going to be a close game. I'll give you 9.
9? That okay?
9 points.
Okay, sorry. I was writing down your prediction, so I knew how to end up roasting you on Monday.
I'll go there. 9 points for the Lakers, but I said here for the Knicks, it's going to be 54 KD and LeBron combined. But the Knicks here, I'm going with the underdogs in this situation. 13 points. Like I said, Brunson goes 30 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Nice. Butler has an off night.
Okay. I think Brunson's probably going to get you a solid 20 to 25. He's really shrank in this playoff series.
And what's crazy is he is
against Cleveland.
Statistically, right now in these playoffs, he's the Knicks' best player. He's averaging 26 points per game.
He's their only good player.
Yeah.
Julius Randle's been really bad, and Hart's giving you some good minutes, but
well, look, Miami went up big. The Knicks are still holding on. They're a thorn in the side. I wouldn't be surprised if when you're going in to watch that Warriors-Lakers game, you're sitting there like, what the fuck? I just watch out for it.
Well, you know what ended up happening yesterday, which was kind of cool? We ended up getting a whole huge – every team seemed to have their own special way of releasing their schedules.
Gosh, do you see Tennessee's?
I did see Tennessee's, and that was really –
Boston Bobcats. You guys see my Boston Bobcats sweatshirt up there on the wall? And my Baltimore Orioles? They got pretty close. I cannot
believe how terrible that – the Broncos did a decent one with The Office. The Bengals one was trash.
Chargers can go fuck themselves, and so can the Cardinals.
I thought the Cardinals one was kind of funny, calling Lamar running back. You guys are welcome. You guys heard it first. But
stealing your jokes.
But there's some games that Josiah and I were like, okay, we're going to come on the show right after this game, and we're going to have a great talk about this specific game. And we got a few of them. Josiah, would you want to go first there?
Tell you what, I'll give my honorable mentions, and then I'll let you start out at number 5, and we'll bounce back and forth.
Okay.
So there's a lot of great games to look forward to. The NFL season and the schedules got released. These games are ones to watch. I almost put them in my rank. It's just there's not much bias here, I promise. I've only got 2 Ravens games in this list in the top 5. And so it's just the games that I personally mentioned. They may not be as big as a stage for the NFL either, but it's a pretty basic list. It's hard to not put a couple certain amount of games there. So my first honorable mention is Christmas, Week 16, Giants and Eagles. It's always a good dogfight when 2 NFC East teams go at it. The Eagles are probably going to smoke the Giants. Yeah. But it's going to be nice. It's going to be a good Christmas.
Well, what if we get another – remember that one game – I think was it Christmas Eve 2010 when Deshaun Jackson ran back that punt return for a touchdown?
I think it was.
Yeah.
It was around Christmas. I don't think they were doing Christmas games at that point.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got to honor Week 1. You got to talk Lions and Chiefs. I thought it was a head-scratcher for a Week 1 game.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not the top 10. But the Lions got better. And you're going against the best team in the NFL, both AFC and NFC side.
Fair.
Anything's possible. Chiefs are going to take that game, but I think the Lions put up a fight. My third honorable mention is the Bills and the Bengals. That game never really got played in the regular season because of the DeMar Hamlin situation. Glad he's doing well. And the playoffs, Josh Allen in the playoffs is not Josh Allen in the regular season. The Bengals probably were going to beat the Bills and clinch the North. I'm not going to say they weren't. They had that game in control to start.
The 1 seed.
It's going to be good to see how this game actually picks up. And they brought it in much earlier in the season during Week 9. instead of the last game. So that'll be both teams are probably middle of the pack healthy. I think the Bengals will be coming out of a bye that week.
Yeah. No, I think we played the Niners coming out of a bye.
Niners coming out of the bye.
Yeah.
I thought your bye was week 8.
Week 7.
Week 7.
It's
okay.
really early.
Ours is late. That's a benefit.
Yeah. You think, man, your schedule gets really, you got like a 4 or 5 week stretch that's pretty tough there in the middle. Other than that, I don't really mind it. I got 2 honorable mentions, I guess. The Bills, Bengals, that was one. And then Bengals, Ravens, just for this show on a Thursday night. We're going to come on Friday and talk about it and rip into each other. So I think that
you like the Thursday night game better than the week 2 game.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that, again, we have another primetime divisional game on the road. You know, it's not like we just had 3 of those last year, but it is what it is. We'll end up hosting 3 playoff games this year, or I guess we'll host 2 playoff games since we'll get the 1 seed. But
we've got 1 home primetime game, 3 on the road as well, and our only home is against you guys. So
we have 8 games that start after 4 o'clock, which is crazy, man. I can't believe the Bengals are in this position. 5 for me. I got Jags and Bills. It is in London, but up and coming team with the Jags. 2 top 5 AFC quarterbacks. I think that there's a chance that this year Trevor Lawrence can leapfrog Josh Allen, and I think that the Jags I'm telling you, man, they got a huge scheduling break. But they got 2 games there in London. I like that game. I'm really excited for that one. I'll definitely wake up. I think it's like 9 o'clock over here or whatever, 7 o'clock.
Is the Jags-Bills the second London game after the Jags in Atlanta?
I believe so, because it's October 8th.
See, that is going to be a huge advantage for the Jaguars, who've talked about moving out there. They're going to have back-to-back weeks. They'll get to practice in London, be used to the time. They have the advantage over the Bills there.
Yeah.
My number 5, keeping it in the AFC North, this is where I have one of my 2 Ravens matchups. Ravens and Colts, okay? Week 3. It is always good when the former Baltimore and the new Baltimore square off against each other, but you're not just getting that rivalry. You're getting Anthony Richardson versus Lamar Jackson for the first time.
Fair, yeah.
That is what I'm looking forward to. You could see, arguably, between both teams, over 400 rushing yards that game. So it's going to be a ground and pound game, I think, and the Ravens defense excels on rookie quarterbacks, but Richardson's different according to Jonathan Taylor and everybody in the Colts, front office. So
every team
I'm excited for it.
Year.
They do. I'm really excited for it, which is that wasn't originally my number 5, but I moved it up.
Nice. I've got Niners, Eagles, NFC Championship rematch. The 2 top teams presumably right now in the NFC. We're gonna get that December 3rd. So it's a 1 o'clock game, which is kind of weird. I'm surprised that wasn't a 4 o'clock Fox game, but that's my number 4 game.
Right. Well, leeching off my game 5 with Richardson being a rookie quarterback, there was 2 more quarterbacks taken that first round. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. And both those guys get to play each other week 8. Now, both quarterbacks might not start right away. Bryce Young will get a start probably after 4 Andy Dalton games. I'm not sure about Stroud. You got Case Keenum and Davis Mills on that roster.
Yeah.
Stroud there. By the time week 8 rolls around, both those guys should be out there starting, and we're going to get to see both top quarterbacks go head-to-head. I'm excited for it, and that's week 8.
That's exactly why I have that as my number 3 matchup. It kind of sucks that, again, that's a 1 o'clock window. I know it's Panthers-Texans. It's probably not going to be like a great game, but to see the top 2 quarterbacks right next to each other, for people that watch tape, that is like a dream come true, because you can really end up seeing head-to-head, okay, how do these guys really end up matching up? What is this guy doing really well? This guy isn't. It really makes it easier. So, yeah, I've got
and it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how both offenses plan for that opposing defense, and seeing how Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, both coming from similar-ish systems, are they going to stay that way in the NFL, or are they going to change?
Yeah, that's true.
But my number 3 brings it back to the AFC North. Ravens at Bengals, which, by the way, guys, $143. That is the nosebleed tickets to go to that game.
Wow.
Incredible. I used to buy tickets $40 to $60 to go see my Ravens get their ass kicked. And now it's so expensive. Thanks, inflation, and thanks for finally being a good fucking team, Cincinnati. But that's not why I'm excited for this game. No. The Ravens do have a tough schedule. I texted Josh, I said those first 6 games, they could go 500.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 3 division rivals all on the road. It's going to be hard. But week 2, healthy Bengals, healthy Ravens, as long, hopefully.
Yeah.
Which is something we haven't seen in a while because the last 2 seasons they've had us play each other. The last game of the year, the injuries are banged up. Half the time it doesn't matter. But, a lot of Bengals fans like to chirp. And that it's a revenge game for Ravens, especially because they talk about how great Joe Burrow is against the Ravens. Well, yeah, he's 1-1 against Lamar. Okay, he's beaten Tyler Huntley twice, Josh Johnson, and Anthony Brown. When Lamar's on the field, it's a much different ballgame. So I'm excited to see both teams healthy. I'm excited to see both teams healthy with a full juggernaut offense. Josh, what is your number 2?
Number 2, Super Bowl rematch, Eagles-Chiefs. I think it's going to be electric. It's a Monday Night Football game, November 20th. I'm definitely going to be watching that from start to finish. I could see Philadelphia really coming out strong and winning that game. So that one I'm excited for too.
I understand. Like I said, I think your number 1 is my number 2, and my number 1 was your number 2. That's the vibe I'm getting. So, but number 2, it was hard to put these guys here. I wanted to put it 1. Bengals at Chiefs. All right. Week 17, possible number 1 seed on the line. Playoff inflictions most certainly on the line here. I wanted these guys early. I wanted to see powerhouses like we're going to see with Baltimore and Cincy in week 2. But this is, after sitting on it, it's a good game to put it. Everyone's excited for it. You got to wait all stinking year for it. And what is it? Burrow's 3-1 on the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
See, and now you're going back to Kansas City where you guys, and unfortunately lost last year's AFC Championship. You can try to redeem it. So, number 2, week 17.
Go back to Burrowhead and take what's ours. I'm glad that they didn't make it week 18 so we didn't have to play our starters week 18. But yeah, that's why that's my number 1, Bengals Chiefs. Is just because it could have some serious playoff implications. It's so late in the season. The Bengals probably already had the number 1 seed locked up at that point, but in case they don't, this could really have some sort of movement. And the rivalry, man. It's honestly it's one of the best rivalries, if not the best rivalry in football right now.
Okay, I'm glad you said right now because I was going to say maybe over the last 2 or 3 seasons, but there's so many rivalries. It's hard to say Bengals and Chiefs, but the way it's going,
at least right now, it's more of a rivalry than Bills Chiefs is.
Yeah, the Bengals and Chiefs could potentially be our Colts Patriots matchup we used to see years and years ago.
Yep,
I don't think that's a stretch to say.
No, but I think we have the Manning in that, but yeah.
I won't disagree with you. I think you're right there, and that's not a bad thing.
No,
honestly, that's not because Manning had Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. You got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's almost like you're looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
But my number 1 was your number 2, the Super Bowl rematch. I think the Eagles are heavy favorites in this. They come out and take it. They almost got the Chiefs. Hurts and the offense had a great game in that Super Bowl. I know you like to bash and question the run. But all they did was get better on defense. They said, what do we need to beat Mahomes? Better defense. So they went out and got Georgia dogs. Dogs. That's the number 1 game. But, Josh, you want to tell them what we got in store tomorrow?
Yeah, guys, we got a video coming out tomorrow. Did Dez catch the ball?
He caught it.
No, he didn't. But we're going to end up debating that tomorrow in our 2nd episode of Sparring Saturdays. Make sure you end up catching that. Ring the bell so that you know we end up uploading it. And let us know in the comment section down below if you had the Warriors going Game 7. Do you like our takes at all tonight for the bold takes for the weekend? What are you thinking? What's the game that you're looking forward to? Josiah? Do you have anything for the Ravens?
Let's get it. Run it back.
Right. Bengals, Houday, Pay Joe. Everybody have a great weekend.